everybody, it's W233444. I'm with my brother Nathan Drizzy at the moment, and we are going to discuss the E3 2014 conference. We're gonna, for now, for this video, we are going to stick with the Microsoft conference, so the Xbox One goodness. So, what the fuck? Oh, what the, Hey, get back here! So I'm gonna be doing random shit on Watch Dogs while we talk, so. Alright, so you want to start with Halo, Mike? What do we think of that?
I mean, we'll go with exclusives. Like, we can talk about COD, Dragon Age, The Division real quick, and how, you know, Microsoft gets, you know, exclusive timed DLC where they get it first. You know, that's nothing new. That's just a, you know, a way for them to say, hey, buy our version of the game instead of the competition's. But I think we should start with, yeah, Halo, the leaked Master Chief Collection is a real thing. 4,000 gamer score, all the first 4 main Halo games, over 100 multiplayer maps, custom playlists, all the multiplayer in their intact story. I know a lot of people really love that. And you know, the maps are all 1080p, 60 frames per second. It's coming out this November. That's their big fall title, well, holiday title, I guess. Yeah, it's a pretty smart move when you consider that, you know, most of these next-gen consoles, I'm throwing the Wii U in here too, I don't care what anyone says, they're after their first holiday that they're out, the one right after, there's rarely any games. And when people are like, oh no, the Wii U is just a fluke, like, besides Halo, Master Chief Collection, Sunset Overdrive, Forza Horizon 2, like, that's a nice list, but nothing really new or surprising or big. No Megaton there. And then on Sony's side, it's a little bit more dire because there's only Drive Club, and you know, I mean, it's not saying racers aren't good. I know plenty of people that love racers. They're fun games, but when you're thinking of what would get people, what would be a system seller, like where's their Mario Kart? Where's the Uncharted? We'll get to that in another video. And Halo is coming in a way, and that's why I think this gives Microsoft a lead this holiday. When you say, look, we have a $400 Xbox One without Kinect, plus the Master Chief Collection that comes with the first 4 Halo games, but we're also going to throw in the beta for Halo 5 that's going to release in December to just rope people back in, because, I mean, that's a pretty good way to get people to buy an Xbox One and just get into the game. What do you think of it?
I think it's really nice, and I think it's pretty awesome that it's only $60 for all of that. I mean, really, all the other remasters that are coming out, like, are kind of me and my brother discussed it. They're kind of ridiculous, but you know, we'll get to that in another video. But I'm not really that big of a Halo fan, although it's an amazing game. So I honestly don't know what to say about it. I think fans would enjoy it, obviously, because, you know, definitely Halo 5 is going to be a system seller, especially because it's like, oh yeah, you know, the only reason I got an Xbox was, you know, for Halo. Well, bam, you got the Halo Remastered Collection, and you got the beta for Halo 5, which is really nice. So, how about that Sunset Overdrive? When I first saw it, I compared the dude to Deslin Rowe. He kind of reminded me of him, honestly, because of, you know, the way he is, and when it was kind of interesting. What do you think about it, Mike? I thought it was pretty nice, and I like the gameplay. I like it because all the other things in everybody else's conferences were kind of like, they were kind of dark, and this one was kind of like the only, like, really light, you know, fun game that you know, that you saw at the conference, and besides all of Sony's you know, really fun indie projects. So what do you think about it, Mike?
I really think it's very interesting, Sunset Overdrive. It's very colorful, very vibrant. You know, I like the over-the-top nature of it. As someone who's, you know, for Insomniac, they had me at the original Spyro trilogy. But then after that, I wasn't really into Ratchet and Clank. I know people who are, and they tell me that these games are great, yada yada. And then as someone who, you know, just didn't really get into Resistance either, I can't really say much on it besides that this looks really, really interesting, and do I think it's like a system seller? Like, are you gonna buy a 400 or if you want a $500 Xbox One for Sunset Overdrive? Some might, because it's a system seller to someone out there. But I don't think this is gonna have the kind of effect on sales that like a Halo would. But I do think that this is a really great game, especially because it's a new IP. It's not a sequel or a spin-off or a spiritual sequel. It's its own thing. And I really love that, because new things breathe life into the industry, right? I mean, without taking all these risks. Like, this seems like a risk to me that we've only kind of seen Sony do with like the PS3 and 360 generation, where Microsoft would, they had some risk, like Alan Wake, which was a fantastic game, but for the most part it was Halo, Gears, Forza, Fable, and COD every year. And then it was like, where are the exclusives? Like, where are the new IP coming out? And they didn't need to have any new IP because those games sold so well. But I like how they're starting fresh, where, hey, this is a new IP. And I love that Insomniac's doing it. So if people are like, oh man, I don't know if this is gonna be good. I mean, like, sure, Insomniac's made some bad games. We've all, like, most game companies have made bad games. But Fuse is only one out of, like, the Ratchet and Clank games, Spyro, and Resistance. So I think Xbox One owners have a really good gem on their hands this holiday.
Yeah, I agree with that. And so we're gonna move on to one of my games that I really enjoyed, Crackdown. Now, I did play the first one for a bit, and then right when I started to play the first one, the second one came out, and I was like, okay, I can get behind it. People really didn't like the second one that much, because they thought it destroyed the whole, what Crackdown was supposed to be like. They're like, really? You got freaking zombies and infected in there? And that was Crackdown 2, right?
Crackdown 2.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, you got zombies and infected in there. That's not what Crackdown is about. And then when I saw that trailer, I'm like, oh yeah, I see it. It's pretty good. The trailer, obviously brought up some questions. And so does everything, mostly at EA, when it just shows, kind of a trailer. They're like, okay, so well, we know it's gonna be multiplayer, but like, is it really gonna be this, cinematic? Can you really get, one guy driving a truck full of explosives, another guy to shoot the explosives on the truck and then have it explode? Will there be destructible environments? Can you take down buildings like that? And will there be like heists and everything? And it's like, okay, that's valid. That's a valid point. And I guess it leaves people wondering, and people are going to be checking it out, and people are going to be looking for it, which is what I think is really going to get everybody hyped up. Because it's like, when you want something and when you think something's going to happen in a game, you're like, okay, let me watch it. And if it does, I mean, you're going to be astounded. You're going to want to pick it up. So yeah, that's what I think about it. No, what do you think? What do you think, Nate?
I didn't really play Crackdown. I mean, I see the charm in it, and how just over the top it can be, and how the weapons and how fun it is, because you run around and no matter what you're doing, you're always leveling something up. You're driving, you're leveling up your driving skills. You're fighting, using melee, you're leveling up melee. You're using guns, you're leveling up guns. You can also collect these orbs, and it gives you a sense of accomplishment besides just, oh, you get an achievement or a trophy. It actually is something tangible in the game, which I really enjoy. Never having played it, I appreciate it. Excuse me, that's much better word. But again, same concerns. You show off, and sure, this wasn't any gameplay or in-game. This was just like, hey, we're rebooting it or whatever. But I think the closest that you'll get to how the procedures that, someone has a truck full of explosives on it, he drives up a ramp, someone shoots the explosives and he gets out, will be like how in Battlefield, if you strap a bunch of C4 onto like a jet or a tank and drive it into a building. And I think it'll be something like that, where, like, I don't think it'll have that destruction to it, the Revolution, I think they call it. I mean, it would be great if it did, but I just don't think it will have that, because one of the problems with open world games is even Red Faction, Guerrilla had this, where you can destroy, most of the buildings, but there are certain things that you can't destroy until you get to a certain point in the story. So either they're gonna have to lock off part of the map so you can't destroy them, or I don't know, or rebuild it magically. Like, I don't know how that would work, to be honest. But it was a nice teaser. Do I think it was a great way to end the show? Well, like, yeah, like how Corporal over here he enjoys Crackdown. There's probably millions out there that do. I just think it would have been better if they ended it with a Halo 5 teaser. Like, whether it be multiplayer or single player, preferably. And just say, this is what, or even like, because they said, and now that this is what Xbox is about. Now I want to leave you with one last thing. The first footage of Halo 5 Guardians beta. What it's going to look like to you later this year. And just show that. That would be, you know, end on a high note. Not that Crackdown isn't a high note, but just something that's gonna get the people talking. Because right now all we have is, oh, it's a trailer. There's no release date behind it. There's no developer behind it. I'll have to check. They might have said. So, you know, we just don't know anything about it other than it's called Crackdown. So, yeah.
It'd be funny if they called it Crackdown X, even though it's not 2. Hey, you're not going anywhere, buddy. Yeah, you know about it. All right.
Forza Horizons 2, I think is the. I mean, I really enjoyed how Microsoft, like Phil Spencer's a great guy. You don't follow him on Twitter, follow him. Like, even if you're not like an Xbox fan, this dude, he's passionate about games. You can tell. He's not like all disrespectful or Nintendo or Sony. He appreciates what they've done for the industry and he loves the competition. And he's for the longest he's been saying we want to do games. Like you see his Twitter, and that's what he says. We need to do games. And I really appreciate that. But just a quick note on Forza Horizon 2. I think we mentioned briefly earlier. You know, this pretty much answers Sony's Drive Club question. Well, if you're a really big racing fan, and you're like, which console should I buy? Drive Club or Forza Horizon? I don't know. I'm thinking Forza Horizon is more open world, and like, not that the crew isn't, in my opinion, going to be the better racer this fall, but just exclusive-wise, Forza Horizon it just seems like it'll be, you know, have a broader appeal because you have the open world. It's not okay. You have, you know, I think 50 cars in Drive Club and a certain number of tracks. On Forza Horizon, you can just race. You have an open world. You just make your races wherever. I just think that's a little more appealing.
Be advised, units are en route to the suspect's location.
You know, and then I guess you could get into the whole, oh, what about resolution and frames? But even Drive Club, what, that's 1080p, but only 30 frames per second. So I don't know. It just seems like Microsoft has that like kind of matched. Like, okay, or you can even take racers out of the equation because they both have racers. If you think both of them are going to be about the same, you take that out of the equation, and then that leaves Sony with not much. So I think Microsoft had a fantastic E3. They came out and said it was only going to be about games. It was only about games, whether they be AAA or indie or whatever. They have games. Even if they weren't exclusive to their platform, they're giving you a reason to play on Xbox.
Alright, so that was sweet. When we come back, we're going to talk about Sony's E3 conference, and we're also going to talk about some other things as well. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to just pause it right here because I'm in the middle of a chase, and you will get to see the end of the chase hopefully when we come back. So thank you guys for watching, and see you later. Bye.